Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you can hear me okay. Got the mic over here. Maybe I should turn it around. I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Black power, right? This is your boy Marwan. Here at Mind Over Matter TV. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. Leave me a message in the chat. Let me know how you feeling today as we start another week of April. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mind Over Matter, and it's all about taking your mind to another level. Drop me a comment in the chat so you know you can hear me. This is Mind Over Matter TV. This is Mind Over Matter, y'all. How y'all doing? Can you hear me okay? I'm going to keep on going no matter what. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, you may have heard of someone called Three God. You may have heard of someone called Nature Boy. You may have heard of someone called Master Teacher. You may have heard of someone called Tehuti. But let's get into something deeper here. Oh, thankful. Thank you, Mrs. Harris. Come on in. Because there's one aspect of this whole drama. This whole drama, y'all, has a lot to do with slavery, being someone's slave, right? Has a lot to do with worshiping someone, right? Hello, hello, y'all. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through, because we're talking about here in the United States. This is a special collection of black folks, you know? A special collection. Think about it. In Brazil, you got a good collection of dark folks, brown folks. Africa, 50-something, 54. Every single country is black, and they look on their currency as black. In America, in the United Snakes, things are a little bit different. The game is a little bit different. There's education about slavery and how religion played a major role in this slavery, right? How Christianity, how the Bible played a major role in it, right? Europeans conquering Africa and leaving the land. Well, Europeans end up taking over the land, but they leave you the Bible, that kind of thing, right? Let's talk about how it works in the United States, because we're going to wrap into this cult that we're dealing with. Slavery here we're dealing with. Here in the United Snakes, there was a paradigm. Let's just accept it as true. Slavery. And then within that slavery, they were educating the slaves. Only teaching a couple of Bible verses every Sunday. You couldn't read no Bible, though. Does that sound familiar? You couldn't read no Bible. They kept you from reading as a slave in the United Snakes. What kept happening? How did you get your spirituality, black folks? How did you get it? Every Sunday, there would be a preacher either right there on your plantation, making you come into some certain area where you would sit there and listen and be obedient, all within the institution of slavery going on Monday through Saturday. You got your wife being raped, your young daughter being molested, you got your cousin being lynched, and then comes Sunday. Thank you, Lord, for everything we got. And of course, worship your earthly masters. Now, listen. This is heavy because even during slavery, it wasn't just white pastors that folks were listening to. There would be certain Sundays where they would bring in a superstar or some big time, or I don't know, but it's a black dude. They would bring in a slave to come into the plantation, a slave that could really preachify, and they would bring a slave in every Sunday who would reach a certain level where they can go travel and be your be and people would look at this guy as, wow, he's black. He's black. He's not like the other. He's black. He's coming in preaching the Bible. He must know the slavery that's around here and he's still preaching it. Okay, we can listen to him. We can have a more intimate relationship with this spirituality thing. Where in the world did the concept of a guru come from? You need a people who aren't really reading. You need a people who are sort of subjugated to believe it. And you need to be able to enforce whatever your religion is. Right. So we've seen plenty of representations on film where slave masters would be raping the slave sister while he's wearing a Jesus piece. Sort of in the States, getting the black folks used to this hypocrisy, used to this weird cognitive dissonance. And the same thing happens in politics as you go along in time, because you're suffering as a black people, right? You're suffering. You're wondering if anyone can hear you, from God above to any good white person giving you a break. What's up? Time goes along, right? You continue on in this same religion, this religion that defeated Africa and basically pacified many people here in the United States to pray for a better tomorrow, to serve your earthly masters today, to turn the other cheek, to forgive, to pray for your enemies while they're not praying for you. So you keep moving on. Next thing you know, you've got these mega preachers. You got these mega preachers coming out now, black, some of them black, but they're preaching the word, whatever you want to call it. You have black politicians coming out now. You're like, wow, maybe they should know what our problem is. They should know what hurts our community. They should look out for us the most. You have plenty of black leaders that exploit you the same way the white leaders exploit you. One thing I thought was interesting about this carbonation thing is one of the former members, Tori, I think is her name. She came out and said, look, why don't you all, meaning this black cult called carbonation, why don't you stop talking this white supremacy talk? Because it's your group that is performing white supremacy on all the members. Is it difficult for us, ladies and gentlemen, to see wolves in our community? What's up, Yvette Struther? A goddess femini yahi. Is it difficult for us to see wolves in our community? And what is making it so difficult for us to see the wolves in our community? Wolves being what the Bible says, right? False prophets. That they're not really not having your best interest, but they're acting like they are. What if the sheep's clothing was the dark skin that you're wearing? See, because in Africa, in Nigeria, there's no such thing as black on black crime, because everybody's black. They're killing each other, whatever. In the United States, there's this different expectation of behavior between each other. The idea is, since we're not majority black, there's a greater expectation, I guess, that we black people are supposed to treat each other better. That we are never supposed to put each other in positions where we subjugate each other, or we emasculate each other, or we oppress each other, ladies and gentlemen. We would, because this is United States, you would hope that people that look like you wouldn't walk on stage and just slap you in the face. You would have this expectation that people that look like you would never act like the very oppressor that subjugated you in the first place. Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? Especially in church, right? Because there are different types of sheep clothing that we're dealing with. In church, the sheep clothing is the fact that it's the church. It's the position of pastor. It's the Bible that some people have gone ahead and adopted as truth. All of these things are like the sheep's clothing. The last thing you're thinking is, that's where the wolf is. That's where the wolf is. Beware, the wolf is right there in your church. Beware, the wolf you're probably married to. And now we have a cult that claims to talk God and claims to talk higher vibration, like this carbonation thing. Says he's God. He makes his followers suck his toes and worship him, and they went ahead and they go ahead and worship him. But he's raping. He allegedly is raping. He's beating. He's physically violent to all of them. And yet he points at white supremacy when you try to run to the authorities for help. He points white supremacy. He makes you feel like fighting back against him. He makes you feel like is you fighting your inner demons. Ladies and gentlemen, we're dealing with a cult that's catching people on spiritual levels, that's talking about the power of melanin and how it connects you to the higher vibration. And a lot of people get caught up in that. They get caught up in their own melanin without knowing if it's ever been activated, without knowing how to activate it, without really having the proper diet or nothing. There are people that are using their melanin to catch people slipping. Nobody in Africa is saying support Black business, but here in the United States, saying support Black business could get you in trouble because you're only supporting it because of the color of the skin, which is not necessarily something you want to always rely on as being what? Kinship. Skin don't mean kin. Why did people have to come up with that? Well, because a lot of people still think today that your skin means your kin. The whole idea of this cult leader going to jail, you know what some people are saying? Why y'all out here hoping that a Black man gets thrown in jail? Why are y'all out here acting like you're happy that another Black man is going to jail? They try to use this weird, twisted logic as if this cult leader, or as if we see him as part of the community. No, there are enemies of your life that have dark skin. There are enemies in your life that take advantage of this weird kinship you think you have with people just because of the skin. This is why some people in Africa, right, although they may say, yeah, those are our cousins over there in America, those are our brothers, they know that there are some people in the States who are sort of naive about this skin thing. Very naive, because they think if they go to Africa, they will be treated like one of them. And that ain't necessarily true. People are confused about skin color here in the United States. And most of them confused about skin color are the people with pigment in their skin. Assuming kin based on your skin, when you might want to think twice, because in America ain't shit too nice. So we got this cult right here. This cult leader, a Black guy. Black woman is God, he used to say. Then he said Black man is God, he used to say. Then he switched it around. Black man and woman is God. Now I'm thinking he's saying trans woman is God. I don't know where this dude is going, but he's got a bunch of dummies following him. And they also talk about the melanin thing. It's so weird. It's how people get so caught up. Just because you're talking that consciousness talk, just because you're talking that high vibration talk, Many people will put their guards down. They put their guards down. They'll put their guards down, and anything can happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this carbonation coat is very sick for that reason alone right there. Because it might actually be a devil, this nature boy thing, a demonic spirit parading its black melanin skin, parading it around, talking that conscious talk, catching naive people. And we don't know how to see a wolf because we're so caught up in the sheep's clothing. And in some cases, the sheep's clothing is their skin color because they're black. I'm not going to think they're going to rob me because they're black. I figure they're going to go ahead and get me their products as soon as I put my money down, just because they're black. I'm thinking, I ain't got to worry about being scammed or nothing like that, do I? Because you are in this white supremacy mindset, only concerned about potential white supremacists, potential racists, that sometimes you close your eyes regarding the darker agents of this world. Sometimes here in the United States especially, you close your eyes. You vote for that dark person. You don't. For example, let me give you an example, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know I'm not too crazy. Again, this is mind over matter. So that should give you the idea that even when it comes to situations like race, your mind has to rise above the matter. Not all white people are racist, but they all are potential racist, right? Not all black people are about it. Not all black people want to fight for revolution. Not all black people are like that. Therefore, there's a good bit of black folks that are more leaning towards the sellout side of things, more leaning towards the all about me kind of thing, more leaning towards fuck them niggas over there. I'm tired. You niggas make me look bad, right? Those type of people who want to try to outshine people of their skin color because they too have self-hate, right? Ain't that right, Zoo Goddess? They too have self-hate. So how is it that you could have a guru? The highest level of life is all about the spiritual world, right? People are attracted to it. Living out in nature. People are attracted to that type of stuff. White boys with long flowing blonde hair. You immediately, some people automatically call them Jesus. Black men, brothers in Jamaica with wool looking hair in the States, or even out in Thailand, some brothers got the locks or the wool hair, or even brothers with bald head. Some people might say the black man, that's Black Jesus right there. So what I'm trying to say is it difficult for us here in the States to see the wolf when the sheep's clothing is melanin? and it's interesting because here in the States, people get excited just about the symbol of a black person. Ketanji Brown Jackson, whatever you have to say about the recent, the sister who was just appointed and nominated and confirmed as the next Supreme Court justice, a black woman, right? I'm not going to take anything away from you if you love or hate her, whatever. But what I will say is this. Most people are saying just because she's got skin color, that's all they care about. The fact that she's got that position. The reason why you know it may just be skin color is because you can go ahead and ask them. I see you're a fan of Ketanji Brown Jackson. I see you are, sister. No problem. But you just give me a fit. Like, do me one solid though. Let me know which one of her decisions, or just give me two of any decision she made in her past that you really think shows her level of intelligence and why she deserves, or why you're looking forward to seeing her as a Supreme Court justice. A lot of people won't be able to tell you anything about her opinions, although you were able to hear The other side where people were really upset that Ketanji Brown Jackson may have been a little loose or lenient or soft on people who were involved in child pornography. People who were involved in child pornography. I think there was a case where she gave the dude 3 months in jail, where the prosecutor was arguing for much longer, like over a year, because he was caught with all this child pornography in his crib. But the issue is not so much that, it is if you support her or anybody who's black in a position of power, what is it about their decisions that you think not only could benefit, right? If I just spoke earlier of some black politicians, they're not looking to benefit the black community. Are you kidding me? They're not turning their back. They're not really trying to pave the way for some next person. They're happy to be there, man, and they don't want to see no more of them. They want to be the only representation of black wherever they are. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say hello. Thank you for coming again. This is Mind Over Matter. I'm speaking specifically about this thing we have in the United States of America where we get excited just because of somebody's skin, or we refuse to see the devil within just because of their melanin. Like this cult leader called Nature Boy. He speaks the black woman is God. So that might lead a lot of black women to be like, oh, tell me more. That is, sounds good. Tell me more. It's like a Pied Piper hitting the right notes. Black woman is God. Black woman is God. And then once he's got you in, then he starts maybe trying to rape you, or maybe trying to turn you into one of his hoes where he feels like he can speak to you any old way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very interesting and important for us to understand as a people. Because like I said, there's no black on black crime in Nigeria. I think it's unfair for us to expect people in the States, just because you black, to start caring. I think that's how it should be, though. I think that's how it should be, but it has to start each individual first. Barack Obama, many people, I'm telling you, yes, it's still within the system. Yes, it's still within the white supremacy system of the government dropping bombs. But who do we have as the president this time? Barack Obama. Got excited because of the way his name sounded. Just same way with Ketanji. Look at you getting excited. Oh my God, her name is Ketanji too. She must be real smart in order for her to make it and be Ketanji and be Barack. But you weren't really paying attention to what they are in control. It's still the same sort of system that they got to be abiding by. And has Barack Obama done anything in that sense for the people who are looking up, hoping they can find somebody in these positions of power that can understand what they're going through, somebody that would care? Instead, you got what? People taking advantage of this. Look at Black Lives Matter. The co-founders, the sisters. Do Black Lives Matter for her, for them? Or does owning some private homes worth millions mattering more? Black folks are really, like, black folks are the most disrespected. And maybe the sisters are right there on top of that. But I would say, the black culture in general is the most disrespected, the most neglected, and the most disrespected, neglected, all of that. And again, what makes it so is that black folks ourselves are the ones doing the disrespecting, the neglecting more of our culture, of our people, of our agenda, of our interests, of what matters to us. We as a people tend to disrespect that more than anybody else. And maybe the women are sort of down there on the bottom, I guess. I don't know. Women and men in the black community are pretty much the same. And there are some who are trying to transition over into and then you can deal with that however you want to. But is it difficult for us to see a wolf when the sheep's clothing is melanin? And then you got people out here acting like they're doing good, trying to seem like a good person on the outside. The gaslighting hits you at the same time. Is it difficult for people to see in a conscious community when something like, once you see somebody with locks and maybe some drawing on their face, some henna tattoos, I don't know. Some people have they got the garments that make them look like they're a part of an official group, of a divine set, or whatever, just based on what they're wearing, right? Not knowing that once they take all their clothes off, once you see them for who they really are, once you see them naked, I don't mean physically, I'm just, once you get past all of their armor and the clothing and the material, once you get past the hats that they wear, once you get past these other things, you might actually see a wolf. But a lot of people, once you see the melanin, the guards go down. They drop the guards. Once you talk that conscious talk, once you are seen as a pastor, they drop the guards. All the kids can hang around. They just drop the guard. They give you okay, benefit of the doubt just because. And that's a problem in the States, man. I'm telling you, you get excited just because you see a black face. Meanwhile, that black face is trying to destroy you. And why is that? Slavery days. If you were a slave and they were taking you on the back of a truck, a pickup truck, whatever, they just sold your ass. They sold you. Your master sold you, right? Let's just say you woke up after a long journey to wherever you were being sold. You woke up and you saw that your master now was some light-skinned man or a black man. You're gonna be like, oh, he ain't gonna beat me, or maybe I won't ever think about running away or escaping. I got me a nigga master. I could get away with all types of shit. I could get away. I don't know. He won't be treating me all harsh. I'm so glad I just got sold away from that cracker. I could be right here, my master nigga. My master nigga, yo. My master nigga. Excited because they master's a nigga. In the house, in the big house. Now, once you do a little bit of research and reading the situation, you realize what? You realize what? Massa nigga is more violent. You realize what? Massa nigga is more stricter. Massa nigga ain't playing no games because Massa nigga already thinks that you think they owe them something. Massa nigga already knows that you think you're entitled to some special treatment just because you got yourself a nigga master now. Right? And then what's the unfortunate part? You see the same thing happen in other industries of the world. I mean, all you got to do is talk to at least one member of making the band. All you got to do really is talk to one member, and you've seen Fred. You've seen that member walking around talking about Puffy. You see in the music industry, they got 360 deals, which is basically slavery. They own your ass wherever you go. You got to pay for show. And a lot of these record execs, some of them are black, right? You saw it in that movie called Bamboozled. Shout out to Spike Lee and all the decisions that are made in the back room about marketing and all of these things. And they may have one black person working at the table of a big time marketing firm. And this marketing firm is trying to decide what type of black images should be used for a certain product or whatever. You might have that one black person on that committee ready to sell your ass down the river, ready to come up with the most offensive, almost like Russell Simmons coming out with that X-rated or adult movie where he's having sex with Sojourner Truth, using the black woman's image as if you got no respect for her. Why? Because you're a capitalist. You're right here. You want to get away. You want to be paid. You don't want to, you know. So wherever there's capitalism, that's almost automatically a direct cousin of racism. Capitalism, racism, these things have to coexist. And unfortunately, that means unity based on race is going to be difficult. Unity based on gender is going to be difficult because you've always got people who want to capitalize on drama, want to capitalize on keeping up the tension. They want to capitalize on the whole thing. They want it to be organized confusion, basically. So that's how white supremacy or racism is able to continue. Just a bunch of confusion all around. You got black folks selling each other out. You're like, wow. Elected officials taking your votes and taking their money. And, once somebody's paying you, you got to sort of. So you begin to wonder, where do your officials' interests lie? Is it with you and your black cult leader? What is his interest? Is his interest all about empowering his clanmen to act as if they can run a clan? No, man. If they're really, really sharp and really, really being taught the right thing in carbonation, each one of those members would have their own tribe where they each would be getting worshipped right now. They could be in different parts of the country, everybody having their own tribe. Or if you want to bring a couple as the leaders of them, they should not be still together. This is like a sick, toxic congregation of weak beings that never know their own power because they're so busy giving it all up to nature boy, calling him God, a man, a human, giving up their own value to him. It's the craziest thing in the world. I don't believe it. It's the craziest thing in the world. And we suffer for it. Even in, like I said, politics, different mayors, different people in local politics. They got the corporations out here putting money in their pocket. They're not going to hold you as their priority. It's so bad that the first black president said what? I'm not the president of black people. He was meaning to say, I guess, I'm not the president only of black people. But the way that he said it, it excluded black people just like that. He's just like, I'm not the president of black people. That means I don't care what happens with black people. I'm not going to be looking out for black people. I'm not the president of those people. Yeah, they voted for me. I know. I got more votes than I'm Barack Obama. But in fact, what you're missing is the fact that my mere presence, the fact that I'm right here in the White House, that's enough for these niggas. Because they're so enamored with the power that oppresses them still. They're so enamored with things like the White House that if me, a black man, ends up in the White House, yeah, they're going to look at me as God. They're not going to look at the fact that I'm still in the White House, that I'm still dropping bombs on Africa, that I'm still pretty much going after all these weaker Muslim nations. They ain't worried about all that. They're not going to ask any questions. We got ourselves a black president. It got so bad that there was a big time radio announcer, forget his name, a black dude. He said, look, y'all, forget about the facts. I know at this point, whatever, you're not really happy with what he's doing. You see how he's talking to Spelman and Morehouse grads. You see he's sort of talking down on black folks, black men. I see. But, give him a break, right? This is Barack Obama, after all, the first black president. What do you expect him to be? Huey Newton? Give him a break so that, the next president who's black might be able to really be black. It's so bad when you start making excuses for your own oppressors. And you start to be so blind that when your oppressor is actually a dark skin or a brown skin, it's like you love the oppression more then you love to question. Ain't that something? Bars. It's almost like you love the oppression more because the person at the head of this machine of the oppressing happens to be black. It's like you love the oppression more than you love the question. Any question you might have. Ladies and gentlemen, it happens in local politics. And you hear from Dr. John Henrik Clark that what? You have no friends. You have no real friends. So it's unfortunate. And once you got yourself a little cult like this, and it's of the spiritual nature, I wonder what you all think about it. I wonder what you all think. Who can I get to come up here and talk a little bit? Anybody got anything they want to add when it comes to this whole the cult thing and how many people it's difficult because you got these black folks, they might be selling you incense, they might be selling you videos and DVDs. They might be out here trying to get you some knowledge and trying to teach you. You feel like you owe them something. Meanwhile, they're just using all that as bait with the desire to scam your ass. How many scams are in the black community? How many people have been scammed? And you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, it's because I had a vulnerability. I had a weak spot. I was trying to give that black person some love, some attention, right? You've got a lot of people saying, buy black, buy black, buy black. Meanwhile, you've got the dude that I sort of look up to, the elder that I look up to, saying, stay away from black folks for the most part, only because there's usually nothing productive going on and it's going to end up in some sort of toxic situation. As you see some relationships happen on YouTube, not much productive going on, and then it turns into your mama, and then your mama turns into Idaksha, and then Idaksha turns into you end up going to court, which is the craziest thing in the world. But many people overlook who you may really be in this country because you're black. Some people who are black would automatically expect you to behave a certain way around them. They expect some sort of a code that's never really been established in this black community. A code, how to behave with each other, how to behave when you're facing oppressors or potential racists. So we got to worry. You probably have to worry more about potential sellouts, potential snitches, potential rats, potential self-haters, because they're going to try to, get in front of you. They're going to hate you the most. They're going to be paying so much attention to you because they hate your confidence. Almost as a means to say, hey, no, 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 boss, look at me, massa, because this one is not who you want really by your side, massa. I want to, but when your master is a black person, sometimes it's difficult for people to see the devil, the wolf. And maybe it's that much easier if you're in a position where you're like a slave or a student to a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's easier for you as that student to be confused, to see the hypocrisy, but still think that there's some relevant knowledge that you need to hang on to. You see the behavior is weird as hell, but you swear that this is some good message, right? A good religion. Just like here in the United States, where you got the Native Americans being mistreated regularly by these white folks, and these white folks were calling themselves good Christians. It got so bad that the Native Americans started writing. I even saw some writings by Native Americans that said, never trust a Christian. Never trust what they're saying because they're probably doing the opposite. Never believe that they will honor any agreements with you. Never really think that they are actually trying to help because while you would never bite the hand that feeds you or that comes to trade with you, that those people are the type, man, they would use the hand that feeds you to also smack you. They would use the hand that feeds you. They would use the hand that they used to shake your hand and make agreements. They would use that same hand to slap you, to ram up your behind and rape you. That same hand to tear up your house. The same hand they're using to shake hands with you and make an agreement or a promise to do something. 40 acres and a mule. They'll turn right around and smack you twice as if no such agreement was ever made. As if no such agreement was ever made. And I do agree, we as people here in the States, copper people, whatever word you want to use, trendsetters, a big deal, but you also see the negative side to that, right? You see the negative to that, right? Once you are established as a trendsetter, and we have to admit a lot of black women especially are trendsetters, right? And that's a positive. I admit it. We can creativity, ingenuity, all of that. But then when you have a power that be always trying to take advantage of something, they will see that you, black woman, are a trendsetter. So what are they going to do? They're going to come up with a trend that they themselves want to set. And then they're going to sit around and, wait for you to set your price. And they're going to grab a bunch of trend setting sisters and a bunch of black folks who like to be ingenuity and ingenious type of people. And they're going to come up with their own plan for you that is usually against your best interest and your people's best interest. And all they got to do is pay your ass to either testify against somebody or come up and do whatever. All they got to do is pay your ass. And there goes another unifying movement down the drain because the one person who was able to get to that door didn't really have you. It didn't really have the hood or the neighborhood or the people or the community. They didn't have all that in mind. It's only about individual putting yourself first, like Spike Lee's movie about that undercover FBI agent trying to figure out the Black Panthers. He believes he was an integral part of the whole Black Panther movement. But we also know that he worked with the government, had a lot of people arrested. And at the end of the day, he wasn't the one that died. He ended up with a job and he's straight for the rest of his life, business owner, rewarded ridiculously for what he was able to divide in the Black community. So that's why I believe cults like carbonation was happening inside of the cults like carbonation. They are arms that's just like a figment of white supremacy's imagination. Carbonation, this leader with a black leader, is a figment of white supremacy's imagination. It's been manifested. That group is doing more for the benefit of white supremacy and racism than the uplifting of any people, including the uplifting of the very people in carbonation, which has never been a priority. The uplifting of True, are you kidding me? The uplifting of Solar, are you kidding me? There's no desire to uplift them. In that carbonation cult, there's a clear agenda to keep their face in the ground, to keep them from reading, to keep them from respecting themselves as men, and to continue to worship the earthly master known as Eligio Bishop, who is in jail, and they're still worshiping him. So let's see how deep this goes. Will the women continue to worship and get him money? Will the government cut off all attempts for Nature Boy to receive funds or something? I don't know. But this group, Nature Boy, this guy who walks around in public screaming, the black man is God. And he also was able to get that white member to lay down on his face and say all these different things. And that's sort of what That's how Nature Boy gets off, seeing people suck his toes, seeing people worship him and say things like, "I need you, Nature Boy. I can't live without you." These are all demonic and devilish desires and pleasures. Seeing people worship you, seeing people suck your toes, never empowering people. This is things that the devil does. And it's all connected, right? It's still connected to that same energy that Christianity spread throughout the world. Who knows? Maybe it's a good message that they're spreading around the world. Good message, good knowledge. But boy, look at what happened in Native America with those people. Look at what happened in Africa with those people. Those people tried to go so far as to try to hit up Japan. Look what happened when they tried what they tried in Japan. Japan wasn't playing this whole idea of Christians coming over and taking over. Japan wasn't playing around with that. Next thing you know, there are Christian missionaries that ended up getting beheaded in Japan for trying to change the whole program up. Thank you, Sarada. We have an issue, and it may be true with our relationships, right? Right here in this country, it's a weird thing, but you hear people saying black men don't love me. You hear black men saying black women are out here acting like they don't belong to us. You have people talking about, I don't believe my man did this. And he's a black man. He should be acting better. It's crazy. If Nature Boy was white, oh wow. Well, see, the sad part about it is you have some white folks who are more decent than a Nature Boy. See, that's the part that's going to really jack people up. It's really going to twist people, make people go, well, okay, I think I understand because like I said before, there are suspect racists in white people. That means that some of them, you not only are they too weak or powerless to do anything to any black person, but they're not racist like that. They're not out here trying to support systemic racism. They're not out here really trying to, you know, minimize the movement of any group of black people. So there are some white people, y'all, who you might find are more trustworthy, suspect racist than people who have already proven that with their black melanin, they're willing to exploit, they're willing to use, they're willing to abuse. With their black skin, they're willing to fool however many people they need to fool because they have an individual agenda that's directly attached to that power that is out here to oppress. You can't beat them, join them is their way of thinking, as opposed to if you can't beat them, band together and see what we can do. No, some people already think in their own head, they say, all right, we minorities, okay. That means we can't beat them. Okay. So let me sell everybody out then and be the baddest minority out here. So it's difficult when you have a capitalistic and a very individualistic type of culture in the United States, right? This is why you have some people who come over to the States from other countries. And man, they sell out the other country. They sell out their home country real quick. They come over here, they denounce their country's passport. They some people no longer teach their native tongue at home. They come to the United States, and this is where all the idea of any sort of unified culture or group of people are going to stay together and bond together. No, you're going to have a lot of individual interests. Cuba, some Cubans, they hate Fidel Castro, and they know that the United States hates Fidel Castro. So Fidel Castro is no longer here. I'm aware of that, but I'm just saying, can't beat him, join him. If you can't beat this United States, which is exerting some pressure on your country, and you see that your leader, in reaction to the pressure, your leader feels like he's got to keep his eye on you more as his own people because they got this great big United States putting pressure saying, "Hey, we want to come in. We want our McDonald's here in Cuba. We want to put our banks up here in Cuba. Hey, we're America coming in. We're big brother." And they're like, "Why doesn't Fidel Castro let good old America come in here and do their thing?" Man, I'm gonna have to, we're gonna have to overthrow Castro. So you're gonna have a lot of people and a lot of different cultures, all for the name of American dream, that would sacrifice and compromise their cultural authenticity and their cultural demands and expectations. They'll sacrifice that. They'll put that on the shelf and they'll instead choose the ops. They will instead choose the ops. Hey, clever stranger, you have any idea what that sentence was? Of that girl, I think I made a video, but of that girl in melanation who left, and then it came out that she had stabbed her mother, kind of thing, to death. Did she get the death penalty? That's illmatic. You're stabbing your own mother, but even within the household, you might have wolves for parents. You might have wolves for parents, but listen, it's very difficult in the black community to see a wolf for what it is. And once they really catch somebody being a wolf and they're not really what their clothing made them seem like, then you're like, oh no, man, I don't believe this. I've been betrayed. But it was unreasonable for you to assume that just because somebody's got black skin in the United States that they care about you. Just because there is a group called Black Lives Matter. This is how deep it gets, y'all. Just because there's a group called Black Lives Matter in the United States, it doesn't mean that the people who founded that group really care about any black lives besides their own, besides improving or really getting off financially on their own life. While they use you, they use your community, they use being charitable, they use all types of things. They use black folks all day just to prop their individual selves up, right? This is why people questioning the Mallory lady, and this is why so many people are questioning my son, and this is why people are questioning this whole Democrat Party and the woke stuff and the fake attention to race when they don't really give a damn. And when some people are just hired to keep up the drama, they don't really give a damn about your people. If you include all black people as your people, are you one of those people that thinks that all black people are your people just because of skin color? We keep saying skin don't mean kin. So if you believe that skin don't really mean kin, that means you can't be the type that puts on a blinder and just says, as long as they black, I'm happy. Because you know what I'm saying? As long as they black, they getting my vote. As long as they black, I'm gonna trust them. As long as they black, I'm a ride for them. And next thing you know, it's all a myth. This whole kinship based on skinship is all a myth. Just like Troy Ave from Brooklyn, he learned after a while that the streets is a myth, and in the streets it's a whole lot of black folks, whole lot of black folks perpetrating, fronting, and of course lying and snitching. Right. Whenever the situation presents itself, where they got to choose individual over group, it's going to be individual. Whereas when I was living in Japan, I thought it was very interesting that those over there, they choose the group first. And a lot of times when they're making decisions, they choose their group first. That's how, that's largely how Japan was able to rebuild after having those nuclear bombs and having Tokyo firebombed. They had to abandon individual whatever, and they just did it for the country, did it for the nation, and did it for that. So y'all, we have to be careful here in the States. And you got more people coming here to the States who are dark skinned, right? And people in the States are still caught up in this, oh, let me respect you. Let me put my guards down because you're dark. Meanwhile, they're coming from dark countries. They're coming from countries where it's no big deal to scam another black person because they don't look at them as black people in places in Africa. So they're gonna scam each other. It's human, right? But they're gonna come over here, and a lot of black folks are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna respect you. I'm gonna honor you because you're black. Just off the front, I'm gonna give you that respect just because you're black." Which is fine. It's fine and dandy, but just don't give up all your stuff. Don't give up all your stuff like they do with this cult with Nature Boy. Now it's turning into LGBT kinky nastiness going on, trans people going around giving group head to the men. I don't know what's good. It's like this weird thing now where it's all about the flesh. It's all about satisfying the flesh however you can, wherever you can, and just and that's it. But we may have a problem, y'all, because a lot of people, it's their skin that's the sheep's clothing. It's the skin. It may be a group that's called black something. That another example of sheep clothing covering up a wolf. Many times when black folks get together, it almost always, soon or eventually, ends up to be some sort of toxic thing going on, unless people are together being productive, which is another thing that we as a culture may not be 100% used to always being productive. Nah, we like to party and bullshit. Ain't that right, Biggie? Party and bullshit. We like to drink, we like to hang out, we like to talk shit about your mother. All of these things may be a waste of time. But like I said, be easy, y'all. We're in the United Snakes of America where many black folks think that they are minorities. And if you have that sort of mindset, you may already be, lost. You may already be lost. But I just wanted to drop that off right here because we're talking about this culture, this cult carbonation and the leader and can they ever realize that this guy was a devil, and it's usually the former members that are quick that eventually let it all out, right? Like Janae, Neytiri, Velvet, former members, Phoenix, even to some degree Nature Girl Fury, and some degree Flo, and all those people who are sort of moving on with their life. But you have former members like Tory and people like that who are all about exposing it. And they would go further to say that the members of this group are just as demonic. The members of this group are just as sick. The members of this group are just as corrupt, just as criminal as their gay escort of a leader. So, like I said, once you get into the bosom and once you get in close with the wolf, then that's what you become. And I think Velvet had said she had sort of become whatever Nature Boy had created, which sounds pretty scary too. And that's another reason why there has to be a heavy deprogramming that goes down once you leave these type of cults. And it's in large part because there's a melanin was the sheep's clothing, and you have the same melanin, and you became that wolf in sheep's clothing. So you have to deprogram all of that, because it's not only that you were worshiping a wolf in sheep clothing that happens to be melanin and dark skin, you were worshiping that male, that human, but you were also becoming that demonic spirit. You were becoming that, and that was becoming you. And you need deprogramming from that, just like you need deprogramming from slavery. Can anybody tell me what the collective deprogramming, when was it? Was it the Harlem Renaissance? I mean, is it hip hop? Original hip hop? Where has been the collective deprogramming from colonization? The collective. You got different moments. You had Elijah Muhammad bringing out different books or presentations. You have Deep Dick Gregory, different people who are light workers or whatever that are specifically trying to deprogram you because you could still be slave today. You could still be slave today. Mental slave. What has been the Black culture's deprogramming from this USA cult where there was slavery for centuries? What's been the deprogramming when the families has been torn apart every generation? People getting whooped and kids being touched and slave master sleeping with your wife, your daughter, and your son. The whole family is controlled. And the next thing you know, you have a dark face as being the head of that controlling system of oppression. And you think what? They're gonna lighten up on you now, right? Because they think they're gonna lighten up. No, if anything, they're gonna come down harder. If anything, they're gonna beat you harder. This is why the whole carbonation is also very violent. And it's also the type of place where you might get your butthole busted by this leader because there's punishment involved in this high vibration black cult. There's a lot of punishment, anal punishment from the leader, and the notion of your spirit and all that being sucked in by this dude, and it's really scary. So be easy, y'all. Just a reminder, it doesn't matter. You know, you could have black music, you can have music artists that are black rappers. There's some people that say that whole like rap, mumble rap, drill rap, trill, you know, there are people that said that stuff is toxic and it's anti-black and that it's meant to destroy people in the black community, even though these artists of these type of music, they're all black artists. You know what I'm saying? They're using black faces to be the, you know, promoters of black destruction. They're using black faces, black female faces, right? Say what you want about Planned Parenthood. A lot of these marketing materials of Planned Parenthood is of black women and yeah, black women. And these Planned Parenthood spots are located where, for the most part? You know, black neighborhoods, you know, black neighborhoods, that kind of thing. And there may be black employees working right there at Planned Parenthood. Black employees. I say, yeah, you should go. I work there now. Come on in, girl. I know you, right? There don't be so much Plan B's that's going to help, girl. I'll let you in. Because once you have black folks that are working in certain positions that are usually against your best interest, all of a sudden, because a black person works there, it's no longer this oppressive machine. Yeah, okay. Okay. Ain't that right, Star Child? So be careful because it's the Democrat side. It seems like it. I could be wrong, but it seems like it's the Democrat side that likes to play along with these race wars and all these. You got your first president that I know of that actually came out and said, "You are not black if you don't know who to vote for." A potential president said that you ain't black if you don't know who to vote for, nigga. Vote for me, nigga. And he gets all the black vote. I mean, it's blowing my mind. And this is another reason why some people were having a hard time, you know, believing things like the DC snipers. People were like, DC snipers, and I was born in DC. I didn't really believe that they were black at first. DC snipers, what? Black? Get out of here. And I was caught up in the whole idea that, oh yeah, can't no black person could be a DC sniper, but of course they could if that whole story is true. Of course they could. Of course, you can have a bunch of people in the Bloods or Crip gang that are undercover right now. Of course, people are willing to sell out. If not for money, they would do it to relax their own criminal situation that they got going on. Individual over the group progress. That's how it is here. And it just so happens that there's that dynamic here in the States where it's individual really over group progress, and it's also a dynamic where you're ready to go sell out with the greater society over here, which never really respects you either. So it gets kind of mickey and tricky. But black folks may have an issue with really finding out that black folks in the States really finding out that people with dark skin are bad or could be really, really bad people, really, really corrupt people, really all about the same thing that white supremacy is all about. They may be like they may be like that Dave Chappelle skit, right? That Dave Chappelle skit where he was blind, but he thought he was still KKK. There could be another skit where people think that they're really that when people are black, but they really hate everything and they think that they're white, but they're really black, but they're blind and they think that they're white. So it could be crazy. It can get kind of sick and disgusting, but this is just another example. This cult, this carbonation thing where it's difficult for people to really, damn, you're gonna treat another black woman like this. You know, he's got that white dude basically face down saying the black man is God, but you know what? He treated black women the same way as he treated the white dude. He had a black woman there saying the same thing, her face in the ground, saying that black man is God. He had the white boy doing the same thing. Black man is God. Black man is God. I serve you. You are my master, nature boy. He had a black woman saying the same thing. He had a white boy saying the same, almost like it's a hazing ritual just to keep you on. I don't know what it is. It's the mind of a slave master. And this mind sometimes passes down into the black. Sometimes pass it down to the black folks, y'all. Keep your eye open, man. It happens. People don't really give a damn, and they could be the main ones helping the community. They don't really give a damn. They could be the main ones, y'all. And that's usually we'd like to give people credit. Oh, you out there helping the community. Oh, nice. But you never really know what their agenda is. You never really know what their agenda is. So I just wanted to come up here, y'all, just make a little quick little message right here related to this cult that we got going on here. That sometimes the darker the berry, right? The sweeter the sweeter the what? The sweeter the fraud. Sometimes the darker the berry, uh, the more I don't know. I'll have to come up with another sort of phrase to say that sometimes the darker the berry, the more you got to worry about, you know, that person being a potential sellout. Because just like every white person is a suspect racist, every black person is a suspect sellout. If you have that mentality and that code, that mind frame of thinking, wherever you go, on top of making sure you're only doing something productive if you're around other black folks. And that may sound like self-hating or something, but no, it's through some experience, through decades of observation and having it being validated and confirmed almost every generation is that when black folks get together, and it's the same for probably a certain class of white folks, but when black folks get together, it seems to always turn into something toxic, talking about each other's mother or doing not being productive, and then people die. Not being productive, people get jumped. Not being productive, it starts turning towards each individual personal attacks. Not being productive, oh, might as well go dox somebody, ruin their life, uh, force them. force their employer to fire them. You see how really ugly it gets, and you can see it on Facebook. You can see it on these YouTube groups. Black people who look like they're going to be friends forever. Shout out to Mr. Skinny and Kwame Brown. I don't know what the hell happened there, but next thing I know, I turn around and Mr. Skinny's talking about how much of a bitch ass nigga Kwame is, and people going to court and threatening to go to court and threatening to go urinate on your mama's grave. And it gets crazy, y'all. So be careful out here. Ooh, Kimberly Jones. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Kimberly Dixon. I said Kimberly Jones. Kimberly Dixon. Yeah, so we said what? The darker the berry, the more poisoned the juice may be. The darker the berry, the poison the juice. That sounds scary. That sounds but like we got the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Again, that's a sexualizing of your body, right? But you can take pride in it if you want. Darker the berry, girl, the darker the berry, girl. You know what they say about me, girl. But at the end of the day, you're still sort of being sexualized in that way. Darker the berry, sweeter. But then we also got the darker the berry, the more poisoned the juice, which is again is scary because you're rolling around. You're going to go pick some berries and you're going to go straight for the dark one, right? You're going to go straight for the darkest berry for the sweetest juice. But we learn through life that sometimes things that can be the sweetest to our eyes, the sweetest to the touch, I guess, the sweetest to the taste, the sweetest to the smell, sometimes those things can be the most dangerous. Familiarity breeds contempt. Once we really, really think about that, right? Familiarity breeds contempt. You think about that in connection with Black folks not being able to see the wolf behind the sheep's skin, which is the sheep clothing, which is melanin. It gets kind of scary. It gets kind of Mickey and tricky. But I'm going to end it right here. Uh, and you get hemmed up, right? I'm going to end it right here. I could go on for days because there's different angles here, but you get what we're saying. There are people who just can't, they go straight to the darkest berry. They go straight there just because they really think there's going to be some good, sweet juice there. And it usually is, but you also end up bumping into some with the most poison. Uh, and I guess it ends up being like a different kind of Russian roulette, but you're picking berries instead of aiming a gun at your head. It's like a different kind of Russian roulette where you're picking berries. You're looking for the sweetest, darkest one, right? You want the darkest, the sweetest. It's like there's a fetishization of black skin too. They just fetishize it. Fetishize it. It's just blacker. Oh, the blacker it is, the more. Oh, is it purple black? Oh, dark. You're like a navy blue nigger. They're like, wow, I love that black chocolate berry looking on your black ass. People get so caught up in some things, and it turns into like a sickness, which is like the extreme of it all. So be easy, y'all. From politics to your pastors, you're never too sure who has your best interest at heart. And you would think when it deals with a spiritual or religious thing, you would think people would be a little bit more, humble or a little bit more understanding, and there would be less about anal sex and forcible rape. It wouldn't be nothing about sucking a toe or worshiping any human. That's like satisfying some individual's ego. Don't they see that? Probably not. Probably not, because they're already caught up in the spell. And we're noticing that melanin could put people under a spell, just like vagina and boobs can put a lot of males under a spell. Just because they got someone right there with vagina and boobs, they put their defenses down. They start answering all your questions. Then you show a little cleavage, man. You get somebody's personal information, whatever. You spread your legs, acting like you're gonna give some of that cookie. Man, you talking pillow talk, you're talking late night confessions, because you have some people who are just weak. And when it comes to stuff like that, just like your people in the States are weak. Just see somebody who is black in a position of power. They're like, wow, we made it. Them niggas ain't thinking about you. Black correction officers, no, ain't niggas ain't thinking about you. Black police officers, niggas ain't thinking about you. Black teachers in schools, you would hope, you would think a lot of them do. My mother did. A lot of teachers do care. A lot of teachers care. But you never know. You never know. Because, like I said, and if you have a business, people are going to expect you to do it for free because you black, right? You black. You got your own business, nigga. All right, give me a discount, nigga. I know I don't know you, motherfucker, but you know what I'm saying? It's horrid times out here. It's horrid times out here. Yeah, I just bought some Jordans. My 15th pair of Jordans. Yeah, yeah, but whatever, man. Hook me up. I know you got your own business, and I'm all about supporting black. You know what I'm saying? So can you hook me up with your products? Can you know what I'm saying? Can you give me a discount? No. If it's a black owned business, you might want to pay more than whatever they're asking for. Make sure that tip is really solid. That is if you're going to hold on to this skin means kin thing. Pan-Africanism has its place, I think. That seems to be another, but whatever. Thank you. Thank you. And I know it's a twist. I know it's a mind twist because we may have been here for a certain number of years as slaves. And as because of what that means is you were in that position because they thought that's where you belonged. They thought that's where you belonged. So it would make sense for every single black person in a state of slavery. When you've got the numbers, you got a gang of niggas out in the field and a good number of niggas in the house, strategically positioned. Yeah, you would think they would all come together and realize there's one common thing holding them in this position. And they would all get together and revolt. But that's how heavy the mental slavery was because very few of them went past the thought of killing and actually did the killing of slave masters. Very few, but some people were out there doing the damn thing. But listen, if there's such a thing as spousal, battered spouse syndrome, what the hell do you think was in existence when it comes to slavery, like battered slave? Like what kind of syndrome do you think came out of those centuries of abuse, centuries of dysfunction, centuries of neglect, centuries of poor medical conditions, centuries of your body being used as science experiment, centuries. If you like to talk about spousal, battered wife syndrome, just imagine the syndrome that a collective of people have been passing down this whole time as a result of what may have happened through slavery and even through Jim Crow, which probably implanted another sort of psyche into the less fortunate, the dark people who had the dirtier water fountain over there, and the torn up public school books, which led to a people being far behind in the race of life, right? Laps behind in the race of life, as we talk about different races, which is really a group, one race towards progress. That's a race, Latino race. It's a race, the black race. It's a race to see how this progress of the black people can progress forward. A black race, a Latino race, and I see people are pushing a LGBTQ race, where some people are jumping in that line, even though they're black, and trying to jump back into the. Ladies and gentlemen, be easy because you got a lot of black people that are now scamming here in the United States. And while Nigerians may be used to it over in 419 land, it's not quite something that black folks are used to here, right? Where the call, the scream, the mantra, the slogan was black power, black power. And what the result ended up being was black weakness, black sellout, black capitulation, uh, black fear, black miseducation. So many different things have really gone down as opposed to black power. And I just hope it, well, I'm just saying, as an individual, you want to get sharp. That's all you can really control. As an individual, you have to get sharp. And that's what I'm here for. Mind over matter. Everybody here's minds matters more. And we're going to keep rising to the top because we give it all we got. We give it all we got. We give it all we got. Ain't no half stepping over here. Cause it ain't no half stepping over here. Mind over matter, y'all. No matter what. I don't care if you went to Harvard. I don't care if you went to Howard. You know what I mean? We're gonna look through your ass if we have to. If we see something, see something shady, we're not gonna be fooled by your melanin sheep skin, your melanin sheep clothing, because we're no longer fooled by that. Because we have powers that be trying to take advantage of our foolish behavior, which is just picking somebody because we know they black. This means if you're a white person and you want to appoint somebody who you know is really a bad for the, but they're black, you're gonna get support. Hey, let me get this black vice president. Hey, look, you see who I got my vice president, right? Look at my vice president. It's a nigger. You guys should know. Appreciate me for that. Look who I appointed as Supreme Court justice. It's a black woman. Come on, come on. Meanwhile, I believe it was Joe Biden that was against another black woman being appointed to the Supreme Court years before. It was Joe Biden saying, no, 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 we can't have this black woman as Supreme Court. So you never know who's really down, but you can pretty much expect that if you got a bunch of white folks talking about racial justice, talking about, I don't know, chances are it's probably just talk. And you want to beware the black folks they got around them cheering them on because they're just the type to support a talk. They're just the type to support just another conversation on race. You have the agents that assist the status quo remaining the same, black agents all around these white folks who act like they're going to do something for the community, but they're not. And you expect that from white folks. So we're saying that white folks have learned that a lot of you out here have a price. White folks have learned, and it's been shown that a lot of you all here just have a price, and that you would be willing to sell out anybody. And status quo remains. People remain subjugated, and all of their dreams remain deferred. All because the few who end up making it are quick to sell the fuck out. And it's only a matter of time, I guess, before you do too. Be easy, y'all. Yeah. Ain't no, you know what I'm saying? The color thing. I think the US is probably one of the most confused places when it comes to skin color and race and things like that. And you can tell Because you've got white women out here saying that they're African American. You got white women saying that they're transracial now. That shows you how backwards it is. You got black folks, obviously, that hate other black people, but you've got white people also saying that they are black. Men saying that they're women. And it is what it is. Do what you got to do. But we're mind over matter here. We're right. Our mind rises above all matters. And on that note, this is your boy Marwan, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank y'all for coming through here today. Appreciate especially the new subscribers. And we'll get back on it pretty soon. All right. Thank you all for coming true. I'm about to head out right now. Enjoy some more basketball if I can. NBA playoffs. Peace out, y'all. One love.